So I'll introduce myself first. My name is Samantha Wright. I've been with Young Living for about 7 months. I live in Boone, North Carolina, and I am a Young Living executive rank. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 small children. I have a 7-month-old and an almost 3-year-old. And I'm also a childbirth educator and a doula in my other career. And I'm one of Katy Giordano's, who we're interviewing tonight. I'm one of her leaders in her Young Living organization. Tonight we're going to be interviewing Katy Giordano, who is my direct Young Living sponsor, and she recently hit gold rank, which we're going to talk about what that means in a minute. She also lives in Boone, North Carolina. Katy, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe what you did before Young Living?
Sure. I'm Katy, and I am also now a stay-at-home mom of 2 kids. I had an undergraduate degree in anthropology and did graduate work in public health and did a couple jobs in public health when I moved here to Boone after I got married. But both of those jobs were just jobs for money's sake because I needed to work and needed an income, but neither of them were things I enjoyed doing. And then I have 2 kids now, and Young Living has provided a way for me to be home with my kids. So it's great to have a background in public health and then to be able to use it to talk to people about natural ways to help their health.
That's great. Cool. And also with us tonight on the call, if you want to quickly introduce yourself, we've got Jessica Nolt here and Melissa Boyce. Jessica, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you fit into this whole gang?
Sure, absolutely. I have been with Young Living since September. I signed up with Katy at a class that actually Melissa, Katy, and Sam were all teaching. And just sort of hit the ground running from that point. I didn't intend to build, but here I am. I am also a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys, and then I'm also in full-time grad school for reading education. So it's just fit perfectly into my life because I can choose my work hours, and it's wonderful.
That's fantastic. And we also have another Boonie here, so we're representing Boone, North Carolina tonight with Melissa Boyce here. Is your mic working, Melissa? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I think so. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, yes, I am actually part of the team on Crossline and all part of Revolution Oils. I'm directly under Becky as a silver leader, and I started with Young Living last July, so July 2014. And just have been having a blast. I am a work outside the home as well as work inside the home mom. I probably work outside the home 3 days a week and do Young Living as well the other time. So it's great because I'm able to fit that in, just like Jessica, able to fit it in between working and things like that. So it's a lot of fun and have a great team. So I'm excited to be here. Love being part of this group.
I know all you ladies are so wonderful.
Yay, thanks.
Yay. Yeah, it is. We do have way too much fun. It's amazing we get to call it work. Well, so tonight what we're mainly focusing on is we're sort of celebrating the fact that Katy, our lovely Katy, say hi again, Katy, just so they know who you are. She reached the rank of gold just a few short weeks ago. In May, she reached the rank of gold in Young Living. So for those that don't know what that means, I'm just going to do a quick screen share here and show you the income disclosure from Young Living. So every multi-level marketing company is required to have an income disclosure. If you want to take some time to read this more thoroughly, I highly recommend it, and you can just do a simple Google search for Young Living income disclosure. But at the bottom here, it shows the different member ranks that you can achieve through Young Living. So everyone starts as a distributor, and then you work your way up to star, senior star, executive, silver, gold, and then it goes on and on. But really, your main goal for those that really want to make a living doing Young Living is to reach that rank of gold. That's when you've gone far beyond just getting your products paid for and getting just a little fun money each month to, wow, now I'm actually supporting my family with this, which is really great. So you can see the average monthly income for a gold Young Living leader is roughly $6,527 per month. That's a really good chunk. Now, this is just an average, of course. There's definitely going to be people on either side of that average, but that just gives everyone an idea of what it means to be gold. Now, Katy, there are some other perks that are associated with reaching the rank of gold in Young Living. Do you want to talk a little bit about what those are?
Yeah, one of the major perks is an all-expenses paid trip out to the St. Marie's Lavender Farm in Idaho, and that happens. You have to be gold for a couple of months, three consecutive months during the qualifying period. So I won't go this year, but next year. And that's really exciting. Then as far as the office end of things, there's a leadership line that you have access to. Helping out different people with that. And then and then there are some other Facebook groups that you kind of get invited to that are leadership oriented, which are really cool, just to kind of see the backside of that and get help from those who are in my upline too, and brainstorm ideas and stuff. So you definitely kind of get let into different forms of leadership as you rank up in Young Living.
That's great. I didn't know that there was even more Facebook groups that you can be a part of. That's exciting.
Yeah, there's a good one when you hit silver, and then with all the compliance stuff, there's a new one with for gold and above to help brainstorm ideas, to help reach out to our teams and get everybody communicating appropriately. So yeah.
Oh, that is one thing I think that's so great about, network marketing in today's world with all the technology we have, especially with Facebook groups. It's just such a beautiful way to collaborate with like-minded people. It's so much fun. So, Katy, can you tell me why did you choose to pursue Young Living as a business? What was that decision like for you?
I had actually followed a blogger who was a doTERRA rep, and she had kept talking about, do you want to join my team? Do you want to work with me and make some extra money? And I kept thinking, well, it'd be awesome to be able to have some extra income to pay down debt, and so I kind of fiddled around with the idea for a while and kept telling my husband, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy a kit, and I'm going to, make some extra money, and I didn't, and I just kept dragging my feet for some reason. And then Becky Webb, who I'm directly signed up under, was my doula and for my second birth, and she introduced me to Young Living, and I'm so glad I waited and signed up with Becky and Young Living. I have no regrets and love everything about Young Living, but I had a degree in public health, and I had worked 2 jobs that I didn't enjoy, and I had 2 kids, and I really wanted to be home with my kids when they were little, and couldn't figure out a way that I'd be able to still have an income, because we needed money now. I couldn't just say, oh, I'll just take the first 7 to 9 years of my kids' lives off and go back to work later, because we can't afford that. So my grant that I was working on at the university here ended 2 months into my maternity leave, and I decided it was sort of now or never to bite the bullet and pursue Young Living as a business so that I didn't have to get another job. So I think my grant ended on June 30th, and then I hosted my first Young Living class on July 12th and took off from there.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, had you heard of network marketing or multi-level marketing before you started thinking about, joining even doTERRA first, which for those who don't know, doTERRA is another multi-level marketing essential oil company that you said you were considering at first. Now, so had you heard of multi-level marketing before then, or what was your initial reaction when you were learning about this kind of business model?
Yeah, I mean, I had heard of different companies like Mary Kay. My mom had signed up with Mary Kay, and she never ended up selling it, but we used to go in with our friends on big orders so we could get the discount. And gosh, Avon, and some of the other ones that I knew people who did that. And I wasn't really excited about a multi-level marketing company. I thought everybody thinks badly of them. No one will want to talk to me about it. I don't want to sell to everybody I know. I don't want to be that pushy person who everybody's like, oh, don't talk to Katy. She'll just talk to you to death about oils. So I really wasn't very excited about that dynamic. And then Becky gave me the book, The 4-Year Career. And after reading that, I was really psyched about the business model and how much control I have over having an increased income based on the amount of time I put into it, and just the fact that I can do it in my own way, on my own terms. And I have been thinking about this the last few days. Like, I would have a really hard time going back to an 8-to-5 job where I have a boss and have to be on someone else's plan and schedule. So I love it now. I mean, I don't understand why more companies don't do it this way. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I think that more and more companies are going to start moving more towards this direct sale, network marketing kind of business model, especially in this day and age when there's so many places that companies are having to pay to be seen now. So now companies are like, well, let me just do this a different way. I think it's really interesting. I was reading today some statistics. Donna M. Baxter, she's the president of the National Association of Women Business Owners of the Greater Pittsburgh area. She points out that roughly 82% of women in the United States who are making $100,000 a year or more accomplished it through direct sales. She agrees with President Obama that when women succeed, America succeeds. So President Obama really thinks that women need to start, raising up and making more money. And Baxter emphasizes that women must support each other, and that taking steps towards ownership through network marketing is a step in the right direction. This is something that I really was drawn to with network marketing, is just sort of how woman's focused it is, and how it really plays to women's strengths of working together, sort of building these tribes and kind of raising each other up. Have you noticed that to be kind of true the deeper into Young Living that you get, Katy?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things I like about it so much is that the community of people I'm involved with now is an awesome community of women. There are some men involved, and they're great as well. I've made such good friends, even though so many of the people I just know virtually, but still I've just made great friendships that way. Feel really supported by my upline and crossline members, and doing classes together, have built relationships with people. Yeah, I couldn't imagine my life without Young Living from that perspective. That whole community would be lost, and I am really appreciative of the community that exists because of being involved with Young Living.
That's so great. Now let's talk the timeline a little bit more. When did you begin this journey building the business, and then when did you hit gold? So in other words, how long did it take you?
Sure. I ordered my starter kit in the end of January, so we started using oils beginning of February. I did not consider building a business or start doing anything until after my baby was born. So beginning of July was my first class that I hosted, and then a month later I taught my first class by myself because I was going home to Michigan to visit family and decided it was sort of now or never. I needed to jump in and do it, and what better place to do it than with my family and friends at home. So I taught my first class then, and after that, that was August, and I was doing Operation Silver, which is an awesome free class that you can do in order to learn all about Young Living and the business aspect of it. And everybody said, it's called Operation Silver because it's supposed to help get you to silver, and I thought, yeah, whatever, I'll take the class will be great, but really, how could this get me to silver? That's got to be so much work. And I did the class July and August, and then I ended up hitting executive in September, and then hitting silver in October, and then gold in May. So after I taught that first class, it was a lot of then working with some of my business builders like you, Sam. Sam and I co-taught a bunch of classes together before her second baby was born.
Yeah, I worked you really hard my first month.
Yeah, Sam was insane. She was trying to fit in as many classes as possible before she had that baby. I mean, she was doing 4 and 5 classes some weeks, maybe more.
Oh, yeah.
But it was great. It was good to kind of jump in there and work with somebody and teach classes together. And then my sister Chrissy started building, and she joined us down there. She and I did some webinars together. She lives in Chicago. And then Jess kicked it into high gear, and she was building, and so we've taught some classes together. So yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there.
That's great. So what does it mean now for your family to be making this amount of additional income?
Gosh, hitting gold put me in a position to definitely not have to worry about looking for another job. I am not making $6,000 a month, but I think that varies so much depending on how your organization is structured, and how I'm not teaching a ton of classes right now on my own, so I don't have a ton of sign-ups on my own regularly because my kids take up so much of my time these days. But having this amount of income puts me in a position to not have to find another job, and also I'm making more money now than I was working 30 hours a week at the university utilizing my public health degree. So that's pretty awesome. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited about being able to pay off some debt in the near future. I figured I'd be paying on my grad school loans for the rest of my life, so I'm pretty excited that that won't have to be the case, and that we'll be able to do some stuff that I never thought we would be able to afford to do. Spend more time together, travel together, be able to give back in really big ways. I've always wanted to be able to do that, and have really felt like all my money would have to go towards paying off debt for public health degree that I'm using, but not in a conventional way now. And it's allowed me to be home with my kids right now, which was my #1 priority. So we were at the beach in April, and I kept saying to my husband, it's so great to be able to go to the beach without having to check in with my boss or feel like I've got work that I need to be caught up on, and just great to have that kind of flexibility to be home with my kids and then catch up with work when I catch up with work, or do it on my own terms. So it's been great to not have the stress of I need to find a new job, and then I need to find daycare for my kids, and all the things that go along with that. So that's kind of been the biggest priority for me, and the biggest blessing of it all.
Yeah, that's so great. I love hearing that. So you reached gold in about 11 months, if I'm counting right. Now, you were talking before about the book that's called The 4-Year Career, and I think a lot of us here, maybe if you're here and you've read that book, maybe raise your hand. The 4-Year Career. It's a really great book that explains, what network marketing is and what it isn't. And they call it the 4-year career because, the underlying theory basically is anyone that really dedicates themselves to a network marketing business for an average of 4 years will, if they do the right work, they will get to a point where they are making a really great career out of it and making decent money. Now, you did it in 11 months, which I don't want people to think that they're going to reach that kind of success as fast. Everyone is at their own pace and at different times in their lives, for sure. But it is really exciting to know that it is possible to rise up that fast. And I've seen a lot of my friends in Young Living rise up that fast as well. It's been a really, really great time to be working with Young Living, because essential oils are so popular right now, and we're making such a difference in people's lives. So what do you think was the greatest attribute to your fast success? What did you do maybe differently than others that helped you reach gold in such a short amount of time?
Gosh, I think it's been a combination of things. I have had some awesome leaders on my team, so this is definitely not a business that you do by yourself, and you definitely don't, go, oh, rah, rah, I reached gold, it's all about me and what I've done, because that's definitely not the case. Sam and Chrissy and Jess are the 3 people who were really, really instrumental in me hitting gold. So I couldn't have done it without their support and their hard work. So, I mean, a lot of it really has to do with that, having some motivated business builders. And our group is super supportive. Revolution Oils, I've been so impressed and so amazed at the tools that are there and the kind of support there is for building a business. And Oily Families as well, our larger umbrella group, has just been awesome. I couldn't do this without having all of that support, and I think all of that support really just makes a big difference. I think part of it too is just building relationships with people and connecting with people and focusing on that. I'm such a relational person, and I'm a helper by nature, so I really like the customer service aspects of this job. I really like working with my leaders and finding out what their needs are and trying to help figure out how to help them succeed, because really this business you only succeed if the people you're working with succeed too, which I love. I mean, I love that we all get to work together and help each other. So probably a combination of those things. I don't know, it's really exciting to be a part of watching other people also end up having the freedom to do what they want to do with their lives because they now have the ability to do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you think that this Young Living adventure, do you think it's been easier or harder than you thought it would be originally?
I think it's been both. I think having gotten to golden 11 months, I still think that sounds crazy. Like, how did that happen when I started this business with a 2-month-old and 2 children who don't sleep very well? And how do I ever have time to actually do any work? And there are a lot of things to do and keep up with on a daily basis, but it's been easier at the same time because I love what I'm doing. I'm not answering to a boss. There isn't the performance pressure. I put my own pressure on myself because I have high expectations for myself, but it's a totally different scenario than needing to live up to somebody else's expectations of me. And I think that, it's definitely been both. I definitely kind of work at my own pace and do things when I can and work after my kids go to bed. So from that standpoint, sometimes it's hard because I feel like, okay, now it's time for me to relax, take a break. But it's kind of my only work time too when they're all sleeping. And at the same time, it's pretty easy, chill work because I love it.
I think a lot of us here have definitely had to sacrifice a little bit of TV time maybe for work. I don't know. You do have to find the time, but I've heard you say before that it is work. You definitely have to take work. It doesn't just happen on its own. Can you tell the people that are working in Young Living right now that are maybe a little bit new, what does that day-to-day work look like to you? So after the kids are to bed and asleep, you hop on your computer, you hop on your phone, or what do you do?
Well, kind of throughout the day, I'm always doing stuff. I'm checking in with people during the day, chatting with my business builders, answering questions, seeing what they need. I'm often calling Young Living when I get a break here and there to check on people's orders for them or help out with customer service issues. I'm keeping track of what's going on Facebook, so I'm helping answer questions within our Revolution Oils group, our Facebook group, and then our business group. I'm keeping tabs on the Future Diamonds group that you get added to when you become silver to kind of keep abreast of what new things are happening or what things I need to be aware of to communicate with my team. Gosh, in the evenings, I'm usually responding to questions, sending emails, updating my email list so I have a place to send out promos if I'm running a promo or to send out information to my whole team. Things I should be doing that I'm not doing are keeping up with the books. And then I'm running errands here and there to mail stuff out to people, send people their reference guides, send samples to people. I send my husband to Staples to buy office supplies. I guess that's probably the bulk of what I'm doing day in and day out. It's a lot of communicating with people, which I have to be good sometimes too about setting my phone down. Having a breastfeeding baby, I've spent lots of time breastfeeding and answering questions on my phone, sending text messages and things like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I think that's so awesome. I think that's why a lot of like stay-at-home moms start doing this is because when you are, a stay-at-home mom, your time is just broken up so much throughout the day, and having a home-based business where you can pop on and answer an email that takes maybe 5 minutes, but then you go back to your babies or your kids, or it's all around your own schedule, which I think is what a lot of us need, and that's why a lot of us are drawn to this kind of business model.
Yeah, definitely.
Sam, if I can, did you see that we have a question from Jason? Would you like me to read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Okay. It seems that your quick success has been achieved not through the number of hours you've put in, but through the number of business builders you have in your organization. How do you identify business builders right off the bat?
That is a really good question.
Yeah, that one, I don't know that you can always identify them right off the bat. I think some of it takes a little time. My sister Chrissy signed up after that first class I taught, and she actually Skyped into the class. And I had no idea that she would build. I figured she's a nurse. I figured she's making great money. There's no way she'll do this, but whatever. She'll get her oils and try them out. And she just instantly had so many success stories and started sharing with people and built really quickly. Jess, I had no idea she would build either. She showed up at that class knowing she wanted to buy a kit, but I really had no idea she was going to build either, and here she is. She built her this past month too. And Sam, Becky connected up Sam and I together. I didn't know Sam ahead of time. I had heard of Sam, and I had seen her doula classes posted up around town and had been curious about who she was. But Becky paired us up, and it was just a great match. So I don't know that I have this key to answer your question, Jason, but I think really it's about just establishing relationships with the people who sign up under you, checking in with them, offering to help out, seeing what they need, and offering tidbits of business information here and there, and just seeing if they bite. I think for some people, the time just isn't right, and it takes a little time. My sister-in-law, who did not come to my first class, I've been talking about oils with forever, and she just signed up this past month to get her kit and is full on, wants to run a business too. So it took her 11 months to kind of come around to that. So I think really it comes down to building relationships with people, kind of gauging where they're at, being there to offer information as they want it and need it, and then supporting them as soon as they show interest in moving that direction.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, how you end up finding your leaders. And I think you've said to me before that, the people that you really think are going to take this business and run with it, don't end up doing it. And then the people that you have no idea that they're interested, all of a sudden they're saying, yeah, I want to run a business, and they start going at it, and they're building this amazing organization for you. So I think it's really funny. I thought we could sort of go around, and each one of us here could share maybe just one story of how they found just maybe one of their business builders that they're working with, because I think it's so fascinating how the different business builders come into our lives like that, and it's also different. So I'll share my first business builder that I really started growing with. Her name's Holly, who's not here tonight, but I'm sure she's going to watch this later. And I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, Holly Drake, I love you so much. I mean, if it wasn't for Holly, joining with me and doing what she did and growing how she did, I think I really would have lost heart, because, at first when I started, I was thinking, oh, this person's going to want to do this with this person. It'll be so good for this person, and they'll be great at it. And none of those people were interested. They say, oh, yeah, maybe later. And then my friend Holly, she has been working in natural health for a long time. She's an herb mentor of mine. She's always been into natural healing and herbs and teas. And really, I just called her up when I was first starting. I called her up and I said, hey, Holly, I'm starting a business. I'm teaching people about essential oils. I really need the practice teaching classes. Would you mind getting some people together and hosting a class for me? And she loves me to death, so she said, of course, I would love to. And I had actually seen her at a party the week before, and I told her what I was doing, and I said, wow, you'd be really great at this. And she said, no, I do not want to do the business. And I think a doTERRA rep had talked to her before, and she was just really turned off by the whole idea of it. But she said, but I love you, Sam, so of course I'll get some people together, and I'd love to learn about essential oils. So I taught her a class that night. And then it is really all about the timing. Her husband had just quit his job and really wanted to pursue his career in art. And so she learned about the oils. She fell in love with them once she got her own kit. She fell in love, and she said, all right, Sam, I need to start making some money here. I love these products. What do I do next? So it really is all about being open and putting it out there, offering that business opportunity to people, but not being pushy about it, but then being there for them when they say, yes, I'm ready to go. And that, I can't thank you enough, Katy, for doing that for me, and I'm so glad that Becky paired us up. Becky is our diamond leader, so her organization at the time was huge. And when you start to get this really big organization, you tend to, if you get a new sign up, you might, pair that sign up with somebody because you don't want to stretch yourself too thin. And it's a way you can help yourself out and your organization out. So Becky paired me up with Katy, and like Katy said, man, I was 7 months pregnant. I was ready to really lay a foundation before my baby was born. So I was teaching, up to 4 classes a week because I just really wanted to go at it. And Katy was there by my side for pretty much every single class I did in the beginning to help me out. So thank you so much for being there for me.
Oh gosh, I learned so much teaching with you.
We had a lot of fun. I kind of missed that wild 2 months, but
I threw my 4-month-old in the car and nursed her at classes and changed poopy diapers in the middle of classes. Everybody was really gracious.
My giant pregnant belly, and then Evie crying on your lap, and you walking her around in classes. It was great. Does anyone else want to share?
I was just going to mention we do have another question, and this one's specifically for Holly, who is apparently listening. I'm not sure how she could answer. Can she type in?
I don't know. Holly, can you type in?
I think Jason's asking the question for Holly. Because Holly's listening.
Oh, Jason is Holly's husband. Yeah.
So she would like to know, what are some specific things to avoid in your business that you believe will cause failure?
If you guys want to say about finding your leaders real quick, and then I'll answer Holly's question as soon as you guys are done.
Okay. Great, that sounds good. Jess, do you want to share maybe how you got one of your leaders under you?
Absolutely. Just a little bit of background. I knew right away I wanted to have my sisters and my mom on my front line. And so one sister just took off running. And then my mom is the story I'll share. My mom has always just worked really, really hard and is tired now and ready to not be working as much. And so I knew from the beginning that I wanted to build under her and build with her. And so that was one of my very first goals, to not only pay for her oils, but also to see her make a little bit of a paycheck from Young Living. And so under her, I have a few smaller builders that have helped out. But I don't know if I'm answering this question correctly, but I think it's really important as you're choosing your builders. You want to work with someone, you want to work with people that you can be very candid with, straight up honest from the beginning. Hey, I need you to spend 100 PV, and I can do that with my mom. And so, yeah, is that helpful?
Yeah, that's really helpful. And I just want to give a little plug because I know, Katy, two of your builders are your sisters, and then Jess, you have your sister and your mom. And I just want to say I have no family in my organization. My twin sister is thinking about it. She's an actress, and I keep telling her it would be a really great, way she could make a little income on the side. But, I don't work with any family. I think it would be really fun to, but, I've always been sort of the black sheep in my family as far as like alternative health and this weird network marketing business model that only weird people do, so. But yeah, And Chrissy, I want you to share your story. Let me see if I can unmute you here. I think I've unmuted you now. Are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I put Avery down, so he shouldn't be playing keyboard time.
Nice.
Yeah, I was definitely not planning on building when I got my kit, but I just started sharing testimony after testimony just via Facebook, and people were messaging me left and right wanting information, and so I ended up teaching my first class without anyone with me because Katy lives hours away. I was in Chicago. She's in North Carolina. And I just sort of went for it, got the class notes since our group puts together so much information for us, and did a little practice class with my friends, and then just did a webinar. And everyone that had been messaging me, asking questions, attended and ended up purchasing kits. And I had 16 signups my very first month just from everyone on Facebook and talking about it the 2 months prior.
Wow.
And so that was very exciting for me. And I was like, you know what? A week before, I had done 2 practice classes, and I had heard that Sam was doing all these classes, and people were signing up left and right at her classes. And I thought, oh, just doing these little practice classes before my real class, my friends might sign up. Well, no one was signing up. And I was like, well, this seems a lot harder than I thought. And then I did the webinar for people that had been messaging me with interest, and everyone was signing up. So that was the bump that I needed to really start building. And then I just went for it. I did not want to be, I'm a nurse, I didn't want to be in the hospital anymore. And I have a son that you all saw running around, and I wanted to be home with him. Didn't really know where to start as far as looking for builders. I just started signing people up, and I was part of a mommy group, and someone messaged me because they had seen me commenting on other posts about what essential oils are, how to use them, what I was recommending that people try, and they were interested in learning, and she was an acupuncturist, and instantly I thought, you know, she could use these with her patients, she'd have an easy network that would want to use this stuff. And so I just started working with her, and then the same group, a chiropractor, messaged me, and so I paired them up together, and they're rocking it. So I think if you have, you know, people, massage therapists or acupuncturists, chiropractors, that's a really easy group to get into that has that network that makes it really easy for them to build, and so it just sort of happens. And then one of my other builders, I just want to share this one because it's totally different. A good friend of mine from college that I worked with at a restaurant, we didn't go to college together, is a mom of 2 and is still waitressing years later, and she's very into all natural health. She posts about it on Facebook all the time, so I knew she'd be into oils, and I shared with her about oils, and she just wouldn't pull the trigger. She didn't want to spend the money. She didn't have the money, and a few months later, someone else had given her samples, and she fell in love with those and got her kit and fell in love, and I thought the business would be great for her, and she just wasn't interested. Her husband was like not about it, and so timing is really key. You said before, timing is really important, and I just sort of supported her with the oils, just hoping maybe one day she'd want to get into building, and I think just something lined up in her life, and she decided she wanted to build, and she is insanely enthusiastic about it. I don't know if she's on this.
I think she's at work tonight, actually.
Okay. But she reminds me of me, and that's really exciting, and she is killing it already. So, hi, boys. So I'm hoping that she's going to be a rock star builder. She already is.
Yeah,
So totally different types of people, and sometimes you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great story, Chrissy. Thanks. How about you, Melissa? Do you want to share maybe 1 or 2 of your leaders and how they came into your world?
Absolutely. Most of my leaders, or the 2 of my leaders, actually came into being from my very first class. And my very first class, I only had 7 people there, and 2 of which were my best friends. And I said, you know what, you guys, you just have to do this. I think it's kind of like Sam's approach on some of it. It's just, you have to do this. I love these oils. You're going to love these oils. And this is an amazing opportunity. And they've been just rocking it. They've been doing amazing. One is very deliberate, and she's like, I've got this. Slow and steady wins the race. And that's just how her thought process is. And then one is actually a professor at William and Mary, and she is just, taking her time and doing amazing. But she's one of the ones that actually helped me get to silver in 2. And then another friend of mine that I had no idea, had never met her before, and I was up at a children's consignment store doing a demo on oils that day. And she came walking in. She was brand new. I think she had only been here a week or 2. She's on the call right now. But she'd only been here a week or 2, and she ended up loving the oils, and it just made total sense for her to build. Her name's Lindsay, and I was like, come on, Lindsay, you were just amazing. You love the oils. You're ready to go. She went home. She hadn't even gotten her kit, and she signed up somebody. And what was really interesting is she's a deep thinker, and so immediately, I think it took her a month and a half to get her kit. So she put the brakes on, and she's like, nope, not selling. It isn't happening. And I'm like, but Lindsay, I know we all have hiccups, because this was when the ports, I think, were holding on to the diffusers, and all sorts of things were going on. And I'm like, come on, Lindsay, I know you can do this. And she's like, yeah, no, I just, no, I'll do it when I'm ready. And so it took her, I believe in December is when she finally, she got her first builder randomly. I had known this person for a long time, and she signed up underneath Lindsay, which was pretty exciting, and they just started rocking it. I think they've only been doing it since last October, and then one of her builders underneath her has been doing it since December or January, and they're bringing in like $10,000 a month. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? So it's just amazing to see the different stories. That business builder leg, most of them don't work outside the home, which is kind of neat to see. And then my 2 best friends, they all work outside the home. So it's really interesting to watch, how everybody's legs are growing, and everybody's legs are different. And, it's fun to take people on the journey and ride along with them. So.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And Christine, I've never met you before. How long have you been with Young Living? Do you have any leaders under you that you want to talk about, or maybe talk about how you came into Young Living?
I was signed up by my chiropractor, who is actually Jess's sister, and I adore her. And and I signed up in, I think it was November or December, and I'm a massage therapist, so she knows I use the oils, and I just had never used Young Living oils, so she tried some, she sampled some with me, and I fell in love with them, so I bought the kit. And then, much like I've heard some of these stories where I'm putting on the brakes, I don't know, I don't want to sell, I'm not sure, I really like using them in my practice, and I share them with my clients or my patient or clients, but it wasn't until just recently where I was like, okay, I need to do this. Like I have 3 children, and one of them is going to be going to college in 2 years, and I'd like some additional income, and I'm 40, so at some point my body's not going to be able to handle doing body work, so I need something else. And I absolutely, I use them in my home, and I make my I use them all over, so I just decided, okay, I need to pull the trigger and do this. And that's why I'm on the call today. I don't have any builders, but I want to just soak up all the information I can and just skyrocket. And I happen to be doing this at a time where they're changing the starter kit and the FDA is kind of cracking down. And typical me would be like, oh, I don't know, there's too many obstacles, I'm just going to not do it. But I'm actually surprised at myself that I'm undeterred. I'm like, all right, we'll just learn it all it's like all new now. I guess we're all learning it new together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true. I think there's always going to be an excuse. I mean, you can always think of an excuse not to do it. Like when I first started, I was 7 months pregnant and I had a toddler at home. oh, I'll just wait till my kids are in daycare or whatever. I could have easily done that excuse. Or I signed up right at a time when Young Living was going through crazy growth, which was causing huge customer service issues. Starter kits were delayed. They had to change the starter kit all of a sudden. Things were going out of stock. I mean, it was a really crazy time to get involved, and I could have very easily said, oh, no, I don't want to do this. But I think that is the underlying factor of everybody here who has been successful with Young Living is like no excuses. Just no excuses. You have to do it. Another thing I think is interesting, I wanted to point out everyone that shared their story, and this is so true across the board for Young Living, almost 100% probably, is that something that makes Young Living stand out compared to other network marketing companies is that we very rarely will hold opportunity meetings. So none of us here decided to pursue the business because of an opportunity meeting. And I think that that's really cool how most people that come into this business do it very organically, and it always comes from being their decision and never pushed into it. Becky, I pretty much had to pull the information out of Becky for her to share with me, how she was making so much money and what it was all about. And I'm like, Becky, teach me how to do this. What is going on here? And she was so not pushy. And I went out and I learned about what network marketing is. I learned about how it works. I learned about how to be successful at it. It has to come from you. You have to be the one to go out, no excuses, and do the work. How about we maybe answer Holly's other question now?
Sure. So specific things to avoid in your business that I think could cause failure. One of the things we talk about in network marketing and Young Living specifically is being duplicable. So I think doing things that make it easy for somebody else to see what you're doing and say, oh, I can do that. That would be one thing to do. So to avoid would be to do things that people don't feel like they can duplicate, because I think then it's too intimidating for them. Some of the things I thought would be a deterrent to people was I actually taught a class at Holly's house, and I was teaching it because Sam couldn't make it for some reason. I can't remember what the circumstances were, but I said, I've got to bring my baby, but I know she won't sleep during that time, and it could be a disaster. She could be up crying the whole time, whatever. And Holly said, no, please come, please come. My family's going to be there. I really want you to come teach. So I came and taught, and I just thought, poor Holly, this is going to be a disaster. And so I took Evelyn, and she wasn't super thrilled the whole time, and I ended up having to walk off with her because she was crying, and Holly took over and taught some of the class for me until I could come back when Evelyn calmed down. And I just thought, oh gosh, I failed Holly. And instead, everybody signed up at the class. And Holly said after that meeting, she said, well, certainly if you can do it with a crying baby, I can do this business. So I really think, doing things where people can see that it's work, but everyone can do it. If you apply yourself, you can totally do it. Gosh, avoiding those pitfalls we've talked about, the excuses, just not letting those have any power over you. Doing something every day that is productive, doing something for your business every day. I don't do huge major projects every day for my business, but responding to an email, reaching out to somebody, making a phone call, doing those things day in and day out will be really helpful. I think that you will fail at this business if you don't do anything, if you sit back and think that somebody else underneath you is going to build your business for you or do the work for you. I don't have a ton of time with having 2 little ones, but I do stuff when I can, and I think if you just keep doing things, it'll be beneficial. I hope that answered your question, Holly.
Yeah, that's great. Katy, can you elaborate, just give us maybe a few more pearls of wisdom for the business builders who are out there that are maybe growing a little slower than they want to be?
Yeah, I would say keep teaching classes. I think that the most success seems to come from the one-on-one relationships you build with people, and having small classes, groups of people. That I think one of the things that worked really well for Sam was she asked her friends to invite their friends who might be interested. So it was a group of friends getting together to hang out, and it was fun for everybody involved. And then there was kind of this group dynamic of if one person signs up, other people are like, oh, she's signing up, I'll sign up too. I want to be, figure out what these are all about. So keep teaching small classes, keep building relationships, share with people your enthusiasm about your oils, talk about how they've changed your life, talk about what things are different for you now and how excited you are about it. That's contagious, and I think that you just don't ever know really when you'll have a breakthrough. Like several people on here said about finding their leaders, you just don't know when and how it'll happen. So even if it seems slow to begin with, I would say just keep at it. Do the things that help you feel like you're making accomplishments right here and now, rather than doing the things that are super long term where you'll see the benefits in the long run, but you might not see anything happen now. So I guess an example of that would be keep having conversations with people who are interested in oils, because you're more likely to have somebody sign up if they're already interested, rather than maybe going out to a big vendor fair and putting yourself out there, but it not being that one-on-one connection necessarily. And I think, too, when you're starting out your organization, one of the things people really focus on is getting signups. But one of the things that's really great about Young Living is their Essential Rewards program. And I think really focusing on educating the people who have already signed up about oils so that they know what other oils they can use besides the ones that come in the starter kit, and teaching them about the Essential Rewards program, I think will do wonders for your business, because that Essential Rewards program is a monthly buying program. And it has so many benefits, and I think when people get on that program, it's the backbone of your business, and it enables you to keep growing, and it helps them learn how to use their oils, and they get so many perks. So definitely keeping that in the forefront of people's minds, definitely not pushing that on them, but reiterating that it's an option if they want to do it, and finding ways to make that happen. I've done some promos in conjunction with some of my business leaders to get people to sign up for Essential Rewards, and I think that can be really beneficial for your business long term.
That's great. So I wanted to address, before we ran out of time, for those that aren't familiar or aren't already involved with Young Living, just to give you a little bit of background, Young Living has been around for 20 years. They are the pioneers of therapeutic grade essential oils, and they chose network marketing because they really liked the direct sales model, where it was person to person talking and sharing their story about how the oils have helped them in their life. And that's how it is, and that's always how it's going to be. Now, flash forward, 20 years later, and the introduction of social media as well to network marketing has really changed the game a lot. And part of that is because it's been so easy to, as a Facebook user, to go on and say, oh, I used A, B, and C oil today, and it helped my X, Y, and Z, and post a testimonial and get people interested in that way. Now, Young Living's grown so much in the past couple years, and we're actually starting to affect, the pharmaceutical companies. We're really actually starting to make a big impact on the money side of pharmaceuticals and big government, and we've drawn a lot of attention to ourselves, and there's been a huge kind of crackdown from the FDA on Young Living, and now we're starting to have to change a little bit about the way that we share. And I know that that's really hard for, it's hard for people that have been doing this for a long time, and it's hard for people that are new to this as well, because we're having to change a lot of our materials and change a lot of our guidelines as far as what we can say in a public setting. And especially what we can say, on social media or any sort of text. So, Katy, do you want to just share your thoughts a little bit about this new, I call it the FDA smackdown, and do you think this will affect Young Living's growth? What advice do you have for business builders to work through this?
Yeah, I have had some concerns here and there about it. I definitely feel somewhat frustrated about having to change the game, but I do have to say that my leaders have been very, very positive about the change, and I think it's really going to be a good change for us. I think it's helping us focus on talking about prevention and talking about wellness, which I think I think the reason why I feel so difficult is because most of society is focused on sickness and what my problem is, rather than looking at the prevention side of things and focusing on wellness. But I think being able to figure out how to talk about these from those perspectives will put such a positive spin on all of it that I think it's really going to be beneficial. I don't think it's going to be a deterrent in growth. I think that it will actually help growth. I think it's just, like Christine said, it's an opportunity for us to all kind of learn from square one together again now that the rules are changing. And I think there are lots of creative ways that we can share about our oils, and just need to do it a little bit differently than we had been. I think, using social media especially is tricky because we do need to be very careful about how we word things. I just want to say about social media, it's been definitely a helpful tool. I don't, one of the things when I started this, I was thinking, like, I'm not a blogger. How am I going to get signups? I'm not getting signups that way. And do I need to have a Facebook group for my downline, which I always consider, but I don't have a Facebook group for my downline right now. The only thing I have is a Facebook business page, which honestly doesn't get very much traffic and really I don't think has been very beneficial for my business. But the way that social media has helped is to reconnect with people from my past. I've had several high school acquaintances that have signed up with me, and I think that's just because they've seen what I've posted and have been interested, and so I was someone they could come to ask questions of. So like you were saying with social media, it's been a great tool. It's not the end-all be-all because it really comes down to making those personal connections with people. I post infrequently on my Facebook page about essential oils. I kind of go in spurts. It's like I think to tell everybody what I'm doing for a couple of days and then don't do anything for a while. So I'm not somebody who overruns my Facebook page, my personal page, with oils information. But I do find kind of when I put it out there here and there that people will contact me and say, I saw that you said this was helpful with what was going on with you. Can you tell me more about that? So yeah, with the FDA stuff, I think we just have to be careful about how we're saying what we're saying, and our groups, our Revolution Oils and Oily Families, have been amazing at helping guide us through this process. I know everybody's working really hard to put together materials so that we have updated compliant class notes to teach from and graphics. One of the new groups that Alyssa, our Royal Crown Diamond leader in Oily Families, has put together is a group for those of us in leadership to post compliant pictures and things that we can pass on to our teams. So there are lots of resources coming out as quickly as possible to really help facilitate people sharing their oils in the midst of all of this change. And honestly, they're all learning too. So yeah, if you need help with any of that stuff, feel free to ask any of us. You can pull any information from the Young Living website. That's all compliant. And we will just keep trying to rework it so that it's easy for everybody to keep sharing.
That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate just the overwhelming support that I've got from my upline, from all of my leaders above me. You guys are totally rocking it. You guys are just putting out so much great information that we can all use so that, this is just like a little bit of a speed bump along our journey, but it's not even that big of a deal because of the way network marketing works, and you guys want us to succeed, so you're going to put out as much stuff as we can for us to use, and it's a beautiful model. I love it. I'm so in love with it. Well, we're at about an hour, so I want to sort of wrap up and close, and then after we close, I'm just going to keep the line open so that everyone here can chat a bit and ask more questions if they want, or anyone watching from the outside can ask more questions. But I just want to throw out there, if anyone wants to learn more about our team, what resources we have, you can go to my website is myinnerrevolution.com, and there's a tab on there that says Work with Sam. You can click on there, and it'll give a list of what our resources are. Like we've talked about on this call already, we have private Facebook groups just for our business builders. So that's, you kind of think of it as like your personal business coach that you don't have to pay for, which is really great. And we also have a boot camp for business builders. It's called Operation Silver. It helps you reach that silver rank in Young Living, and that's for people who really are serious about wanting to build an income with Young Living, and it's fantastic. It's a great little workshop to do. You know, everyone that's on this call, raise your hand if you've done the Operation Silver boot camp. Anyone here? And did you guys find it helpful?
Yeah. So helpful. Anyone who's interested in business building with me, I tell them it's an imperative thing to do. I know Christine's going to start the next one, and it starts either June 22nd or 29th. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll get information out about that as soon as we know exactly what day it's starting.
That's great. That's great to know. Yeah, so you can learn more. You can go to my website, and then, of course, if you were invited here by anyone else that's on this call or is already involved with Young Living, talk to them, and they will tell you what you need to know. We have a lot of fun. It's like I said, I'm so glad that I get to call this work. It's so great. So I'm going to close the interview section up, but thank you everyone for coming tonight and sharing your stories, and stick around if you want to maybe pick Katy's brain a little bit more. Is that okay with you, Katy?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Katy.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. I'm glad you came.
It's good to see all your faces.
And congratulations again, Katy. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. I wouldn't be doing this and here if it wasn't for all of you.
Katy, I have a few questions.
Sure.
One of them is about an estimation, like how many hours a week would you say that you worked? And I'm sure that it has varied since you've had a baby. You started, with a really early infant, and that's where I am right now, and I just don't know where to do it because of sleep and all of these things. Like, how did you do that? And, my main question, how did you do it with a young baby?
That's a great question. When my young baby was first born, she slept, so that helped, but I had a toddler too, and he gave up naps when she was 4 or 5 months. So when I had those golden months where they both napped in the afternoon, that was when I was doing Operation Silver, and it was like my solid 2 hours if I'd listen to Operation Silver and do my assignment. And then, gosh, once that was done, it was really, I would take the baby with me to teach classes. She was never good about letting anybody else put her to sleep. My husband's just now able to put her down at night and get her back to sleep when she wakes up, and she just turned a year. So it was several months of taking her with me to classes, doing things here and there when I have a few minutes at home. If Gabe's busy playing with something and I feel like I can answer a phone call, I will. Or sometimes I have to end those phone calls because he decides he needs my attention and acts out because I'm not paying attention. So there's no perfect science to it, but I usually have my laptop sitting open on the counter in the kitchen, and if I can sneak in responding to something when I have a minute, I do. And then after the kids go to bed, I often will sit down with my computer and work then for a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty whooped because now my 1-year-old wakes up every night at 9:30 crying. So I end up, my time is really broken up and disjointed in the evenings too. So on the weekends, I often say to my husband, okay, you need to take the kids somewhere. I need an hour. I need 2 hours. I need to just sit down and be able to focus, and I can get stuff done that way. But one of the things Sam and I were talking about the other day is that I think because my time has been this way, I haven't been able to run my business like I would have thought I would have wanted to if I didn't have kids. Chrissy can attest to this. I've sort of been a perfectionist my whole life, and I always want to do things a certain way, and I have not been able to do this business that way. And I think it's really been a blessing because I do what I can, and then I have to let the rest go and trust that it'll happen as it needs to, when it needs to. When I started doing this, I told Becky said to me, what do you need to be making to not be looking for another job? Because I was on unemployment for a while, and I was like, Becky, I have got to be making $2,000 by December. Like, I just have got to be making that kind of money to not find a new job. And she was like, oh, we can get you there. It won't be a problem. And I thought, she's crazy. But, and I wasn't there. I wasn't at $2,000 in December, but I was making enough that we could get by until we got to the point where I was making enough. So part of it, I think, is just trusting the process, doing what you can. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing all the things that need to happen in order to run my business well. And then I just step back and say, but things are moving. I'm finding myself in a position I didn't think I would be in 11 months into it. The people I'm working with I love, and they're all succeeding. So, you know, did I answer your question?
Yes, you found the time. You don't keep track of your hours because that's impossible.
Yeah, it is impossible. And I think, too, when you are doing something you love doing, you do find the time for it, because I realize that this is something I do for me, and if I wasn't doing this, there's a whole part of my life that wouldn't exist. And I love being with my kids, and my priority is to be with my kids, and I'm also really grateful that I have this to do as well.
Mm-hmm. And if I could add something, I think it's so true that when you do something that you love, you sort of carry it with you everywhere you go. So, you know, people ask me how much I work, and I say, well, I'm kind of always working, because I'm just sort of always carrying Young Living around in my heart, you know, and I'm sharing about the oils when it comes up. And I don't think I'm doing this in a pushy way, and I don't think I'm being annoying about it at all. You know, I don't go around and say, let me tell you about my business, let me tell you about these oils, and I'm not in people's faces about it, but it's always sort of in the background of my mind. So I have 2 small children, and my toddler, he's like a wild child, and so we're always out and about, and I purposely do that for him because he really likes to be around other people, but then I also do it for myself. So when I take him to the playhouse or I take him to the park, you know, I make a huge effort to go and talk to people, which I used to never do, and I think that's something really cool about this business. It's made me sort of get out of my shell a little bit and say yes to a lot of things. So, you know, if I have someone invite me over for dinner, in the past I might say, oh, it's so much work to bring the kids out to dinner, but then now I'll say, well, yeah, like this person could really benefit from the oils, or this person might make a really good business builder. Let me go have dinner with them and foster that relationship, and then talk to them about it if it comes up, you know. And I think that it's important to sort of just carry it with you everywhere you go, is my advice.
At the same time, I think that we get to the point where we're doing it constantly. I've been telling Katy, when I hit silver, I'm going to create some work hours because I do want to turn it off and be able to focus on my kids without thinking about Young Living every minute. So I agree with Sam. I'm constantly thinking about it and coming up with ideas and all of that. But at the same time, it is important to take care of ourselves and step back too.
And I think that's gotten easier for me. I think when I first started, I was trying to soak up all this information and be plugged into every Facebook group and wanted to read everything, and I think I felt a little bit obsessive about it. And I don't think I was. I think that I still was present to what was going on in my daily life, but there was kind of like this inner pressure, and I've backed off of that a lot. There are some days where Jess asked me the other day, have you noticed what's happening with your OGV? And I was like, no, I haven't really looked today, whereas before I'd be like refreshing my page every hour or whatever. So I do think at some point that kind of levels out. Like it's been 11 months and I don't feel as crazy about it. But it's like the excitement, there's so much excitement at the beginning, and then that excitement hasn't gone away, but I think it's just been tempered some. And I love talking about it with people, so I'm excited to get a phone call from one of my business leaders and chat with them about stuff. And then there are times where I'm like, dude, my kid's freaking out. I can't talk right now. I gotta go.
Do you think your role has changed too, like from the beginning to where you are now? Like how has your role changed from now I'm not just getting started and getting my voice out there, now I'm just really leading my people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely shifted, and and I really like that shift. I enjoy teaching classes, and it's fun to get out and do that. But I really like working one-on-one with my business builders and my leaders. So I really enjoy those relationships too, and I like both sides of it. But there was definitely a shift, and I kind of felt like at one point, like, you know, I sort of felt badly that I wasn't doing more classes or, those sorts of things. But then I had to remember, okay, now I'm investing energy in some other places, and it's okay to be doing that. I think it's just sort of necessary that shift happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to grab my cord for my computer. My computer's going to die because I forgot to bring my charger up here.
Well, that might be our cue to close out. But unless if anyone here has any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I just had a few comments. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
If my computer dies, I just want you all to know, feel free to contact me personally. I'm happy to answer any of your questions personally or help with whatever you have going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
go
the
for it,
best way to do that, Katie?
Oh,
Tell people the best way to get to you.
Yeah, either if we're friends on Facebook, sending me a Facebook message is great, or my email address is katygiordano.youngliving@gmail.com. So that's KATIEGIORDANO.youngliving@gmail.com.
Great. Okay, Chrissy, tell us what you want to say. I just want to give a plug for Chrissy that we kind of started this journey around the same time, and even though we are kind of cross-line from each other, so, she's not under me, I'm not under her, we don't really benefit from, sign-ups and stuff, but she has been just a blast to kind of work alongside with, and I remember we did a webinar together once, and it was just so much fun. So I love working with my cross-line relationship people. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we taught that class to help Katy hit silver.
Yeah, we did. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I actually went on vacation that last week in October, and I promised my husband I wouldn't teach a class while I was on vacation. So Sam and Chrissy taught one to help me get to silver.
Which was awesome. So two things, one about FDA-related stuff, and then one about Katy as a leader. So when you were talking...
I'm just going to warn you, I'm going to walk with my computer to find my charger because I don't want my thing to die while I'm listening to you.
She's like, well, you're saying
good.
No. So FDA stuff, I think that when Sam and I started, we were doing this whole FDA thing once, and I was kind of like, well, I'm just starting out, so I haven't gotten the habit of saying all this stuff, so I can learn the right way. So actually, when I was going through my old posts, I didn't have a ton to delete. Now in my classes, I'm really bad one-on-ones about saying, sick this, sick that. But I think you newer people, it's an opportunity to just start on the right path from the beginning, so don't be discouraged. And then I, being the nurse that I am, I focus on a lot of, I'm sick, how can I get better? However, my passion is preventative health. And I think it's a really good focus and shift that we can start talking about, using them for cleaning products and a face cream and stuff that we'll literally use on a daily basis, because hopefully we're not getting sick every day. So it's actually a really good way to get people to use their oils on a daily basis so that they're going through them and revive. So shifting from when you get a cold, hopefully only once a year use this, to make this face cream that you're using every morning and every night, and throw this in your laundry and use this on your kids' stinky shoes, and all of that stuff is great. So focus on that. And then as far as Katy, hitting goal, of course, she shouted out to all of us that she couldn't do it without us. So yay to all of you guys too. But she has been an awesome leader in just being there to support me in any way. So if I had a crazy month in February and was getting married out of the country and was on a couple other trips, and she just was like, don't worry about it, I'll take over, I'll do what you need me to do. So she just being really supportive, or if I needed something done with one of my members, something got screwed up, like Sam mentioned, that they were doing crazy growth and things were just sort of wacky for a while. So call times were 2 hours, waiting, and Katy had hit executive, so she had that special number and could reach out to upline support. So she just offered all the time, can I call for you? Can I help you out? I'm making a call for 3 other people, texting me, do you have any, things that have been screwy that you need help with? And that helped a ton. So just knowing that I had that support from her really kept me going. So if you've got, people under you that are doing the business, just being there for them when you can, I think is really important. Just helping out with the little things you may not think is a big deal, to say, hey, your ER order was, someone under you, their ER order was low. Do you want me to help them figure it out or call for them because maybe they don't have time? It's those little things that that support your builders that help you grow. That's it.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, that's great. I can speak to that too. When I was first getting started, like I said, I was 7 months pregnant, so I thought I was going to have 2 full months to really rock my business out before I had an infant. And then I went on to bed rest for preterm labor. So I was out of the game, and I had all these classes scheduled, and I had all these customer service issues to deal with, and my midwife was like, you need to get off your phone. I mean, I was a little crazy. That's just my personality. And I remember Katy, I just called Katy up, and I sent her an email, and I said, I need this taken care of and this taken care of, and can you call this person for me, and can you teach this class for me? And she said, I got your back, girl. Turn off your computer. I've got this. So, it's so not luck that brought Katy here. It's her being this genuine good person, this genuine leader, and just always being there for us. So, and I so appreciate you, showing us how to do that so that now we can go and do that for our people as well. It's so beautiful.
Thanks, Sam. It's my pleasure. I love that part of this, and that's part of why I love this job so much, is that it's so fun to be able to do that and do that. I mean, all of you guys are my friends. Some of you I didn't know before this started, but you're all my friends. So it definitely.
I know. I can't believe we didn't know each other before. It's just crazy to me.
I know. Melissa and Sam and Becky and I got together at Panera a couple of times to have some business builder discussions early on, and yeah, it's been very cool. I'm happy to answer more questions. My computer is charging now.
Cool.
Are other people still on the line besides those of us that are hanging out?
I don't know. I mean, some people say that they have trouble using the Q&A box. So who's to say?
But she's Facebook messaging me, so I don't know if she can use the.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was gonna say I got a question from Gina. About Young Living, the 4-year career, and I did read the Young Living version of that. So there are different versions of that, and that was the Young Living edition was the one I read, which is great because it has really inspirational stories at the end about different people's paths on Young Living and how they've implemented the 4-year career in their lives. And then as far as working my business all day long, Gina said, how do you do that with kiddos around? I feel like I'm on my phone too much as it is, and every time I touch my phone, my kids whine or cry. Sometimes when I touch my phone, my toddler throws things, and I think it's because she wants my attention rather than me being on the phone. So I just do little things here and there as I can, and I don't block out big chunks of time to do stuff during the day. That's why my laptop is on the counter, and if I need to respond to something quickly and briefly, I can. So yeah, I don't sit on my phone all day, and I'm not on my computer all day, but I just do what I can when I can, and then if it turns into being too much, I save the rest for later on when the kids are not around. There's another question on here, too, from Holly. She says, I'm exhausted spending most of my Young Living time solving people's health problems, including people in my downline. How do I shift away from this approach in light of the new FDA pressures in the face of the evidence that this approach is not helping? I think all the things Chrissy said, focusing on the prevention stuff and really teaching people, what, Chris?
Reference book.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Taking
people how to find the answers themselves, I think will be so key in you not burning out. So we all on our team send reference books to anyone who signs up with us as a gift, and it takes a little chunk of money out of your thank you check from Young Living. But it's well worth it because people figure out how to use the oils themselves, and they really get excited about using them because they have resources at their own fingertips. So, Holly, I would say, oh, bye, Katy. Have fun nursing your baby. I would say really help facilitate people to learn how to get the information themselves so that you are not their resource book. And Holly, I know you're sending out resource books to people, so I would just keep directing them back there, asking them questions, asking them if they found it in their resource book. I have a few people who do text me frequently to say, this is going on, what should I do? And I'll ask them, have you checked your reference book? And sometimes I'll just send them a picture of the page in the reference book so that they can see exactly where it says, you know, what it is, and I don't necessarily have to look it up, but then it's not me typing out a long response and thinking through the problem for them. And then I think once you do that enough times, they go, oh, yeah, I've got that book. I could just turn the pages myself.
You've so done that to me.
I've done that to you? Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's my quick fix, too. It's I don't have a long time to type something out because my child is screaming or needs lunch or whatever, so it's much faster for me to take a picture of the reference book anyway and just text it to you.
No, for sure. Or people will ask me and I'll say, I don't know, and then send a picture of the page in the reference book. Show them, I don't know, it's right in your hands.
And really, we have to do that now because of FDA compliance. We have to teach people how to find their own resources because we are not allowed to, I don't think we're allowed to give recommendations to people for things to help a problem. We can talk about how the oils support different body systems and, you know, there are things that we can say and do, but we cannot, we can't be fixing people's problems for them. The FDA won't allow us to do that. So teach people how to access the information themselves would be my recommendation.
That's great. Well, Katy, are there any more words of wisdom that you can think of before we all go and nurse our babies back to sleep?
No, not outside of ask questions and utilize the people above you. Everybody's so willing to help, and I think that that's the beauty of this business model is that we all succeed when we all succeed. So it makes everybody motivated to help everybody else out. So if you have any questions, any concerns, need resources, are feeling lost, need somebody to cry to, talk to, vent to, always seek out someone in your upline because we're all willing to help out. And yeah, I really, really enjoy helping people build their businesses because it's so fun for me to see you guys succeed too, and just to see everybody kind of get to a place where they experience their own freedom for whatever that is. If it's freedom with time to be able to be at home or financial freedom or whatever it is, that's really fun and exciting for me. So yeah, if you need anything, let me know. And I know you all have wonderful leaders above you too besides me, and I know they're all willing to help too. So just ask.
That's great. And a plug for Crossline support. So if I could put Melissa Boyce on the spot, Melissa is actually Crossline from Katy, so you are not working directly under or above Katy, but I know you guys have spent a lot of time together, and I know you've just been invaluable for me and such an inspiration. I love working with you. We do health fairs together. We'll do classes together. Do you want to give any words of wisdom or advice to maybe business builders who are experiencing some slow growth, or maybe to new builders who don't know where to start?
Absolutely, I'd love to. I think my husband and I work with a credit union out in Wyoming, Cheyenne, Wyoming, and they pay about $1,400 a month. And I work not a lot of hours, but like you guys, you know, as you can, and it seems like a lot of hours on some days, and then other days it doesn't seem like a lot of hours, and we'll talk, and he's like, you know, how many hours are you putting into Young Living? And I'll say, well, I think it's this many, and he'll say, and how many hours are you putting in with that credit union? And it's probably 2 hours a week. And he's like, and you're making the same amount of money. And I said, I know. I said, but if you look at the really big picture and you look at the 4-year career, in 4 years or in a year, I'll still be making the same amount of money with that credit union. But with Young Living and with my business, I'm going to be making a lot more money. You know, I'm going to be at gold or going to be at diamond or, you know, platinum and things like that. So I think keeping your eye on the ball and not getting frustrated, you know, and really leaning on each other and calling your cross line, calling your upline, your downline, each other, you know, and just keeping your pulse on each other so that, and know that you're not alone, because it does truly, the first year to year and a half, it feels like you're pushing that car up the hill. Do things together. Sam and I love doing things together. Katy and I love doing things together. Jessica said that, yeah, you know, we were all together at that class that you guys were teaching together. And so always, always, always try to find a cross line to, you know, work together and look for ways to support each other and think outside the box as much as possible. I know Holly was at one of my pet classes that I was teaching at, and, you know, she was with, you know, she was on you all's team. And so anytime that you can work together and think outside the box, and just know slow and steady does win the race, and that you're changing people's lives and teaching people, you know, prevention is just, it's, you know, it's a big ship to turn on a lot of people. Some people already get it and they know, but it is a big ship to turn. And thinking of creative ways or brainstorming, because it's really tough to be sitting in your house. The kids are crying, you've got a nurse, you didn't get enough sleep last night, you fill in the blank, and you're sitting there and you're trying to think of some creative idea to get more signups or to reach out to more people. So just pick up another person, you know, pick up the phone and call your cross line or call your upline or call your business builders and say, you know, what do you think of this crazy idea? And then, you know, just share the idea and get people's, you know, feedback from one another. And I do want to say, hopefully Holly's still listening. One of the things I was going to do, because I like to help people too, whenever they call and they say, we all like to help people, whenever they call and they say, XYZ is going on, what do I do? And instead of telling them, oh, did you look in the book? So what I'm putting together, and I'm sure you guys will do it too, is just a little YouTube video to say, hey, you know, XYZ is happening, what do I do? And then I'm going to do something really funny with the book to say, oh, I look it up in my, you know, essential quick reference guide, essential oils quick reference guide, and then I'm just going to take that link and I'm going to send it out to all of the people in my downline. So just as kind of a fun little thing, and maybe do a contest with it. So hopefully that helps somebody.
Nice.
But I love working with you too, Sam, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I was also wondering, Katy, can you confirm that the website, is it, I think it's oil-testimonials.com. That, I believe, the FDA cannot shut that site down because it's a third-party site, and that is a website where people can go and just search for an ailment that they have and then read testimonials from different people. So that might be another resource, Melissa, that you could tag onto your video as well. Katy, can you confirm that that will remain open?
Yeah, I believe that one and ylsearch.com will still be around because they are third-party websites. Things are changing regularly with what the FDA is saying we can and can't do, so we will keep you all posted. But as of now, those two websites should still be available.
Katy, do you know if Experience-Essential-Oils will still be up?
I don't know that. I was asking Becky about that one the other day. I really like that one, and she recommended sharing that one privately with people but not sharing that publicly. So I'm not sure who runs that, and that may be the sticking point. It may be a distributor who runs that, and I'm not sure that they'll be able to continue if it is indeed run by a distributor.
Can you say the name of that one more time for me?
Experience-Essential-Oils.com.
Check that out. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
It was fun.
All right, good night.
Night.
Have the broadcast.
Night.
Bye.